Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Days Podcast along with a new video. I want to thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, viewing, watching, listening, just always being there and truly just appreciating all the content that we've been making lately. I thank you so much thoroughly. I want to continue to make more. There will be a variety of different topics that we talk about. More on the free side because I don't want to give off like, oh, the paywall is really where you want to be. Like, no, I want to make sure that we can have as much content on both ends as possible. So do not worry. I will definitely be putting out more Patreons and Spotify episodes too that are exclusive. But as far as with free content, we are going to continue on talking about music. So what we're going to talk about today is Tamia's A Nu Day. We already talked about her self-titled debut. And there are a couple of things that I wanted to point out when it comes to her second album. And the only couple things I wanted to really say was the fact that it came out at a time where no one was prepared. It came out at a time where there was all these other artists, especially in pop, was emerging. So it just was like, okay, where's this person? Where's this person? So this album was definitely an album that people were like, okay. Like similar to Maya's Fear of Flying. Like it was just like, okay, she's back, So let's get into it. A Nu Day is the second studio album by Canadian recording artist Tamia. It was released by Electrica Records on October 10, 2000, following her transition from Quest Records. A less ballad-driven collection of songs and more progressive approach than her debut effort, Tamia worked with a smaller number of songwriters and producers on the album, including Dallas Austin, Shep Crawford, Missy Elliott, Bink, along with Errol, Poppy, Makala, and Jazz Nixon, some of whom would become frequent collaborators on subsequent albums. As with Tamia, a cover version, DeBarge's 1983 single Love Me in a Special Way was also recorded for the album. Upon its release, A Nu Day received a mixed response from critics who complimented Tamia's transition from the adult contemporary sound on her debut album to a more stylish contemporary urban soul, but found the material inconsistent. The album debuted and peaked at number 46 on the Billboard 200 chart and became her first entry on the top R&B hip-hop albums, peaking at number 8. A steady seller, it was eventually certified gold by the Recording Academy and remains her highest-selling album in the United States. Similarly, A Nu Day produced 3 of Tamia's commercially most successful singles, including her first U.S. Billboard Hot 100 Top 10 hit, Stranger in My House. A Nu Day was nominated in the R&B Soul Recording of the Year category at the 2001 Juno Awards. So the Juno Awards it's more or less handled in Canada as opposed to the Grammys. Yeah, so the thing about this album, and it didn't receive as much praise as her previous one, and I think it was just because they were trying to understand the direction of where she was going. And it wasn't that it took too long for her to make this album or anything like that. I think in such a pop world at that time, you hear songs and you're just like, well, where is she going? But you can't feel like that with R&B and not with other genres. It gotta all be that. That's why there's content creators like me, where you gotta just dig deep into the music. You can't just, oh, well, I don't understand it. Well, you're not gonna understand it if you're just listening to pop. You're not gonna understand it if you're just listening to rock. You gotta open your ears more. You can't just, and yeah. Promotional touring for A Nu Day began on September 5th, 2000. So she was already touring before the album dropped. Tamia visited retail, radio, press, and local radio outlets in support of the album. She also performed at Net Neur's 5th anniversary celebration in New York City and at the Detroit Female Wellness Tour sponsored by Procter & Gamble, Honey Magazine, and BET Networks. Yes. But it debuted and peaked at number 46 on the Billboard 200 chart. The album also debuted at number 8, becoming her first top 10 entry on the chart. Tamia's most commercially successful album to date. A New Day sold over 665,000 copies in the U.S. And was eventually certified gold by the Recording Academy, indicating sales in excess of 500,000 copies. The album produced 3 singles, including the lead single, Can't Go For That, her hit single, Stranger in My House, which reached number 10 on the US Hot 100, and Tell Me Who, which reached number 2 on Billboard's Dance Club charts. So yeah, let's get into the track list. Track 1 is Interlude. Track 2 is Dear John. Track 3 is Can't Go For That. Track 4 is Go. Track 5 is Love Me In A Special Way. Track 6 is Long Distance Love. Track 7, Stranger In My House. Track 8, Wannabe. Track 9, To You. Track 10, Can't No Man. Track 11, Tell Me Who. Track 12, If I Were You. Track 13, Can't Go For That remix featuring 213. Now, 213 was an American hip-hop trio supergroup from Long Beach, California, composed of Snoop Dogg, Warren G, and Nate Dogg. The name derives from Los Angeles' original telephone area code 213, which served the city of Long Beach at the time in the group's formation. So, yeah, she had some rappers in there too, okay? And then there was a Japanese edition, track 14 single, which was written by Kelly Price. But yeah, guys, like she definitely was wanting to make sure with this particular album. Ooh, wait a minute. Missy Elliott is a high spot with echoes of Jill Scott in some of her jazzier tracks. Okay, so yeah. Missy definitely helped her on Can't Go For That. And yeah, like this was a good album. I think it just wasn't listened enough. Yeah, the company envisioned to establish her as their long-term urban signature act, similar to Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, who enjoyed major commercial success with Virgin and Arista Records at that time. So they wanted to make sure, like, when she was coming out, that she could just blow up similar to them. And everybody was different. And I think that, you know, when they market certain people and put certain money to certain places, like I said, if it's not your own money, it's borrowed, okay? So it's always good after a while to kind of do things independently so you know where everything's going. You ain't got to worry about, well, oh, yeah, you know, well, this money went to the music video. And it's like, all right, well, you know, we could have dipped a little bit of that money to go over here for the publishing. And it's like, you know, there's certain things. But she did good on this album, and stream it, you know. There's nowadays you can stream albums and really appreciate them. So I'm always going to advocate for albums that don't always get listened to, or, you know, didn't get, you know, purchased enough at a peak time because other albums were coming out, to kind of go back and look at them, because why not? They're there. But yes, guys, that's the end of our episode. I truly appreciate you guys listening and watching, and I will definitely be back with more.